Good evening. It's beyond evening as I speak to you. David McMillan here, retired smuggler and fresh out of the bath at 3 o'clock in the morning because I've been working all day and actually had to cook my own dinner. Well, it was a very good fillet steak on a barbecue, just a couple of minutes. But I get sidetracked here. I was just recording something for Patreon. I no Patreon is it? Yeah, people give you money to keep your channel on air. Mm. And my pitch was that I'll never take advertising. No, who'd give me any? Yeah, but um, so I thought I'd just use up the rest of the film and the camera, as they say, by just seeing where we are. Um, oh yeah, I'm back at an old haunt where I hadn't been before. Hmm. You know who I mean.
David, but cause
One thing that's changed is I'm back in the studio with Sean Atwood and his little crew. And I guess you can see them setting me up. Well, no, setting the studio up for another bristling 2 hours of the winding adventures. Last time, I guess that was number 9. We're still in Pakistan, and it's, well, if you want to go somewhere else, just try and travel by air. See how far you get. Yeah, then you'll be on lockdown coming back. Self imposed isolation, in which you'll have 14 days to have to put up with what I put out. Anyway, yeah, so, and there'll certainly be a 10th edition of the studio interviews with Sean. And that one's going to be pretty good, actually. Those of you who've got, well, any kind of heart of stone will be interested in the outcome of my friend, his lordship, Norjon Magsy, and what happened to him in the end. Well, I've kind of given you a hint there. And for myself, well, I've got other things on the go, YouTube video wise. Some viewers' questions, yeah, I know they're usually idiotic, but people do ask me things like, what's the lowest, most despicable crime ever committed in the world of fraud? Well, you know, it was actually one that I thought up for somebody. I didn't let him have it, and I don't think he had the patience for it. But, well, it was his sure way to be a millionaire. But, as I say, he didn't have the brains for it, really. It's a matter of style, a lot of these things. But the fact is, things fraudulent are sort of cheating, aren't they? I mean, you have to admire a bank robber who sticks a gun in your face and says, give me your money, because, well, what would you call him? A frank businessman? Indeed. And look, the only good thing you could say about a fraudster is it's a little lesson in being sharper in your observations of life. Well, we do like to put people in categories. And I guess I should really. What else am I doing? Oh, yeah, I've got a thing on doubt. It's a little on the technical side, but really, most of us have it in all the wrong places. So I'll schedule that one for June sometime, I guess. Anyway, so there'll be more of me around. Now, I guess I should turn to, well, while I'm here, a quick roundup of what's happening around the world. Plenty. Ha. Yeah. Pre-summer roundup. Yeah, just a few minutes here to tell you what you might expect. And I've been glancing over the headlines. French scandal. Do you know there's an awful lot of them with the politicians? They never, I mean, they kind of absorb the sex scandals, but the bribery ones come out. But they don't look very impressive. At least they used to look kind of fashionable, but they're wearing pale blue COVID-19 masks. I think that's the Twinset and Pearl's version of looking innocent in a mask. What else is happening? Executions going ahead in the United States. Well, they could give them a Soylent Green send-off with lots of pretty pictures and undoubtedly good drugs, but they get some kind of mean-spirited drugs. And I paused there because I just remembered the European Union won't export some of the cocktail of lethal injection that goes to the US, so I wonder what they're going to do, make it up their own. Yes, you're right, I could have a few suggestions. Of course, the execution might take an awful long time with my choice of drugs. Sure it'll work, eventually. What else? Iran seeking the arrest of Donald Trump over the killing of one of their top flyboys in the know-how department. Well, the know-how department of what it was, a counterinsurgency. His name was Soleimani, that's him. And he was blown to bits, I think, and lured out somehow, tricked. I think they're more offended at sort of underhanded nature of the attack, which is pretty rich for them, huh? Yeah, I'm still looking at their crown jewels, I can tell you. No, there's a Kim Kardashian story, and there's 200 million. I'm just not going to read it. 32 dead in Bangladesh. Something. Water was involved. Ferry crash. I had a friend years ago who used to collect cuttings from newspapers when people actually bought print newspapers. It was based on bus plungers in India. Well, not always in India, but just generally. He took it out of the New York Times, and there was an extraordinary number of bus plungers. A bus plunge kills 16, kills 32, 64. He had an album full of them, and it was only that the editors used bus plunge as the headline, the column 5 stuff, I think it was. Well, something morbid about that? No, there's more morbid to come. Have you noticed to be in fashion now, you don't say Black Lives Matter, you casually say, oh, it's my BLM thing last week. Yeah, BLM. If you say the full 3 words, you're out. You're not even leading at the cutting edge of the most passionate, heartfelt. Wait a minute, they're lynching. Oh, poor old. What's his name? Zuckerman. Facebook. Yeah, they in a what I'd call a business-orientated restructuring of the advertising rates. There's boycotts from, I think there was Starbucks and who else is this one? Well, there's quite a few of them. Offended, yes, terribly offended that Facebook are not hunting down fast enough those people whose opinions the majority don't believe. Well, when I say the majority, not the majority of the whole world. The majority of the whole world doesn't even look. The majority of the whole world probably worries about lunch in a very sensible way and then getting a warm place to sleep. No, the majority of the people who have plenty to say on Facebook, they don't want some people to say anything. I'm sure those other opinions are probably pretty lame, but I'm not entirely sure what qualifies. You see, the thing is, they don't want to do it. The people who want to take down the bad opinions, they don't want to take action. They want Facebook to do it. Oh, and kill off whoever it was, their account too. Oh, a full defenestration, as they used to say about throwing priests or something out of windows. Removed. I won't even mention the freedom of speech angle, but do you really want them to have to set up a committee of what's unfashionable talk? Because after all, it's just opinion. Even opinion which is, well, racist, or childish, or wrong, or just grumpy. And that could easily fall into a category of either entertainment or you have to let an imbecile speak so you know what to criticize. If you never even saw it, you wouldn't know. You'd be really concerned that sort of making other kinds of fashion statements. You'd be lost. You need at least something to bounce off. No, there's a bit of a howling mob thing behind all of this. I know you noticed, and I shouldn't say it makes any difference, but those least affected by it, BLM I mean, those least affected by it have currently got the most anger going on. Those most affected by it have moved on to other things. Dinner, I suspect. But for me, it's a late night cappuccino and a Xanax-induced sleep. Dormicum's better, really. If the doctor says so. Right, no more news worth going on about, so I'm back in the studio with Sean, and there's a very interesting one coming up about whatever happened towards the end to His Lordship, Lord John Magsy. Extraordinary night that was. And that'll be in episode 10. Yes, I could tell you myself, but I've got other things to tell you. Did you catch that one on those people who want to be your friend? Yeah, it happens to me a lot. I don't want any new friends. Well, perhaps by mail or something. Yeah, that'll do. Who has time for the real thing? Anyway, about your personal life. What, a roundup of what's happening with it? All right, well, your new relationship will turn out to be much less than expected, and you'll be in for a surprise. Somebody you never even thought about before, who's been quite often close to you. Yes, not in the office, but you just never really thought of that person in that way. You'll start to think about that person. And then you wake up and come to your senses. When you've been asked to work from home, it's a bit of a hint there. Start to try and develop your own business. Which reminds me, I've got a video coming out about the 20 most despicable things that people have asked over the years. Yeah, that's worth it. But back to you. That's so important, isn't it? Very important. You're very important. There will be some opportunity to learn something you've never known before. A fresh insight will come to you based on old material. And you are feeling sleepy. And it is now 3:45. And I've got to get up in the morning. But you are feeling sleepy. So, turn off that screen and be sensible like me. Just go to bed. Night-night.